Okay, let's go on to this is what we're doing here. We're done with the running back position now. We are moving on to the wide receiver position. We're going to start off with that boy Tim Patrick. Great name. My middle name is Patrick. Love it.
And I have an uncle named Tim. How ironic.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're kind of rapid fire through some of these receivers right here. But, yeah, Tim Patrick stepped in, had a pretty good game. I think it was like 4 or 5 catches, 40, 50 yards. He got the touchdown. It was Cortland Sutton who had the crazy monster game for the Denver Broncos here.
How many yards did Cortland Sutton have?
I think it was like 150, 160. It was something absurd like that. But I do like Tim Patrick. I mean, a guy who's, who isn't a quote-unquote starter, would be a starter on a lot of NFL teams. I think he's in his rookie, or not rookie. I think he's in his contract year. So, he's got the opportunity to make himself a lot of money if he can come out here and ball out, especially with Jerry Jeudy being down for a couple weeks. But, I do like Tim Patrick right here. I think, he's a big body guy, a red zone guy. Him, Cortland Sutton, and KJ Hamler, they all split the snaps like around 75%, give or take. But, yeah, I like Tim Patrick a lot. If he's out, like, these are a lot of players where it's like, hey, if they're out there on the waiver wire, like, I want this guy on my bench. I'd rather have him on my bench and putting up points instead of you picking him up, and now he comes out and he has like a 20 burger, and I lose because you're like, what the fuck, this guy started Tim Patrick against me, and I just lost? Like,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that is the most frustrating thing. When you look up the lineups beforehand, too, you're like, fuck. But, yeah, Tim Patrick, solid ad. You would say you would add him, put a claim in, right?
Depends where my claim is. If I have like a low end claim and it's maybe I'll take a shot if I need a receiver, depending. FAAB, you could probably throw in a low offer because I don't think people are going to be too gung-ho on trying to get Tim Patrick. But he's a guy where I grabbed last week. He was actually one of our waiver wire picks last week. I told you to go get him. So hopefully listening, you got him, because if not, now he's definitely going to be like a hot name, or his value has definitely gone up this week compared to last.
Sure. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. We got Darnell Mooney. Well, this is a guy we loved as like a sleeper wide receiver. I think we talked about him on our due draft list for wide receivers in a video before the season started. But Darnell Mooney comes out, does pretty well.
Yeah, I like Mooney. He was another guy where it was I can't remember if it was the grab and stash TikTok that we did or if it was like the waiver wire one. I think it was the grab and stash one actually. But yeah, I like Darnell Mooney. If week 1, not the best, but last week against the Bengals, he actually led the team in targets, 8 targets for him. You had Allen Robinson only get 4 targets. So he led the Bears in targets this last week. He had 6 catches for 66 yards. I don't like that stat line, 666. If you know me, I'm pretty superstitious when it comes to that number. But I do like me some Darnell Mooney here, especially if Justin Fields does take over eventually. I mean, Darnell Mooney is one of the best route runners in the NFL, and his ability to get open is just crazy good. So, I think you're going to see a lot more games like this where he's going to have a consistent, 6 catches, 50, 60, 70 yards, whatever it is, and then, he's sprinkling a touchdown. I mean, Darnell Mooney needs to be added. This guy's going to finish as a top 40 wide receiver, hands down, and he's available in a ton of leagues. So go get Darnell Mooney. Thank us later.
And here's the thing is I like to wear all black a lot, so I like that 666 stat. And we always talk about Tom Brady sold his soul to the devil.
For sure.
I mean, maybe Darnell Mooney did.
Yeah.
Let's go on to Rondale Moore. Had a huge touchdown in this game. Here it is, actually. Oh, no, wait, that's not it. But Rondale Moore, sneakily, there's so many offensive pieces on this team. It's kind of insane. Between Kyler Murray, Chase Edmonds, James Conner, there's and then all these receivers, AJ Green, Rondale Moore, DeAndre Hopkins. It's kind of insane. But Rondale Moore stood out big time in this game. Christian Kirk too. And so, Rondale Moore stood out and had a huge touchdown. Do you think it's consistent, or is this more of a stash guy for you?
More of a stash guy for me. He's one of those guys where I feel like a lot of people are going to blow their load to get him. They're going to be hyped on what he did this last game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the guy's that's what he is.
Nuts,
he's a playmaker guy. But I mean, here's the thing that gets me with him, that I don't think that he'll be able to sustain this on a consistent basis. He's a boom bust guy for me. He led the team in targets. He had 8, and then the next highest guy was Max Williams at 7, who's the tight end, who didn't even have a catch in week 1. And then you got guys like Christian Kirk and D-Hop only get 4 catches themselves, or 4 targets. 4 targets. So Is Rondale Moore going to lead this team in targets every single week? No. Is he going to be the second highest in the team in targets? I would bet that no, he's not going to be the second highest either. So, and then he's still fourth in terms of, and I know it's early, maybe he surpasses AJ Green, maybe he surpasses Christian Kirk in terms of getting more playing time. But currently right now through 2 weeks, he's still fourth out of those receivers in terms of snap percentage. He's only seen the field about 30% of the time, I believe it was, where you have Christian Kirk seeing the field at like a 65% snap percentage. So he's still kind of fourth in the pecking order. But maybe that's kind of benefits him because when you have guys like Christian Kirk who went off for 2 touchdowns, you have D-Hop, who were the Vikings game planning for this week? They were like, well, first of all, we got to shut D-Hop down. And then after that, it's Kirk had 2 touchdowns in week 1. So, okay, we have to account for him. So maybe it's kind of just like, the defense wasn't paying too much attention to him compared to those other weapons that the Cardinals have. And that kind of opened things up for him to, especially to get that, it was like a 77-yard touchdown. Yeah. So, yeah, he's more of a boom-bust stash play for me. I don't know if I'd be blowing my load on him, as I say.
And by the way, yeah, go ahead.
I would rather have, I'd rather have Mooney. I'd rather have Tim Patrick. I feel like those guys are going to be more consistent throughout the season.
Yeah, I think it's just in case he becomes like one of the higher, like if they see him more involved and does well this week, they might push up that snap percentage. But I do think that there's too many people on here, so I think if you grab him, throw him on your bench, stash him, I'd be nervous to play him in future weeks. So because you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get, but it's good just in case if he does that you have him on your bench.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said too. Yeah, I'd rather him put up 20-30 points on my bench instead of you're playing him, then he puts 20-30 points against me.
Yeah, totally. It's rough.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one here. Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard quietly, you said, quietly out here.
Quiet out here, they're just getting it done. He's eating right now.
What is he though?
He's I don't know. What did I say?
Wide receiver.
Oh, he's wide receiver 9 right now. And I was looking
quietly doing it.
He's quietly doing it. Yeah. Yes, wide receiver 9.
I tried to set that one up for you. Maybe I didn't do very good.
Yeah, no. Wide receiver 9 right now through 2 games. And when I was looking at the ESPN roster percentage, like I said, it's different on all the platforms. But he was under 50% owned on ESPN, which I think is just absurd. That number needs to be like 90%, 95%. He needs to be owned like 100%, honestly, if he's going to keep this up. The guy is just balling right now. I think he's got like 80 or 90 yards in the first week, and then over 100 yards the second week. He's getting hyper targeted. He's just getting a ton of targets. Kenny Golladay is obviously the big name acquisition, but it seems like Sterling Shepard is Danny Dimes' go-to guy. Especially when they need to play. Yeah,
and we talked about Daniel Jones with the quarterbacks for possibly waiver wire ad for this week. It totally makes sense why we're talking about a Giants receiver too.
Yeah,
I do think
he would be my number one if he's on there. And we're going to talk about another really good player right after him. But if Sterling Shepard was on your waiver wire, he would be my number one wide receiver to be targeting.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would be putting in a pretty high claim for him. Obviously using the number one overall claim is pretty tough sometimes because you want to hold it in case, you get that spot.
But him, it makes sense.
I mean, it's just, I'm spending a decent amount of FAAB and I'm putting in a very high waiver claim for him. Depending on how deep I am, if you're struggling for a receiver and you have the number one claim, I'm not mad at putting him in there because it looks like he's going to be the guy over there. It's crazy to say, but he looks like he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, I love it. Sterling Shepard, throw him on your freaking team, baby. He's doing it quietly.
Yeah.
Let's go. Michael Pittman Jr. This is the last of the receivers here. Michael Pittman Jr. also kind of quietly. I think a lot of people don't, maybe it's because we're on the West Coast, so we don't hear a lot of Colts talk, but Michael Pittman Jr. having a good week 2.
Yeah, week 2 kind of blew up. Week 1 was whatever, but week 2 he had 8 catches on 12 targets for 123 yards, and this was against a very good Los Angeles Rams defense. Obviously the Rams, one of the better defenses in the NFL, and he just got it done. And I think you'd agree with me on this, Mike, but this is one of our favorite wide receivers coming out of the draft last year. Just a guy where I felt like he has all the intangibles, all the tools to be like a Mike Evans. I hate to say that comparison, but that's kind of like some high praise. But I mean, that's what he has. He's got like the same build, same height. Guy who can line up outside.
Yeah, I think last year he had the ankle injury. It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
It screwed him up.
I mean, his dad was a former NFL player, so his dad, I feel like a lot of times when your father's been in the league or something like that, they kind of can prepare you mentally at least for what to expect. So yeah, I love Michael Pittman Jr. If he's out there, he was out there in a good chunk of leagues as well. So I was kind of surprised to see him not as rostered and owned as he should be. So yeah, just another guy where if he's out there, I'm definitely trying to get him on my team.
Are you spending a waiver claim on him, or do you
I'm
think
for sure spending a waiver claim on him.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously you got T.Y. Hilton banged up. Zach Pascal's there too, but and I think Zach Pascal's a good player in his own right. But give me Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, 12 targets, that's insane.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's once you get in those double-digit targets for a receiver, you got to pay attention.
And for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but this Colts offense hasn't been able to get the ground game going. I don't know if it's two tough matchups or whatever it is, but yeah, it's been pretty.
Because Jonathan Taylor's a little freaking pleb.
Yeah, but yeah, I like Michael Pittman. Like I said, I was surprised to see Sterling Shepard and Michael Pittman so widely available. I'm going out and getting those guys if they're out there.
Very good. Now, that's it for the wide receiver ads for week 3, going into week 3. But here we go. We're going to talk defenses.
Yeah. We didn't throw any tight ends on here because, honestly, there's no tight end that I'm willing, me personally, to put a waiver claim in for.
Yeah.
Or spend FAAB on. It's pretty gross. I feel like most of the time, especially if you're in a 12-man league, all the good tight ends are gone. And sometimes you got people who have backup tight ends. So now you're looking at like there's like already 15, 16, 17 tight ends that are rostered. Now you're looking at like these just a wasteland, a barren wasteland of tight ends.
Well, it's like, yeah, what, you going to pick up Max Williams? Well, guess what? Week 1. I think
Zero
Max Williams
catches for
finished
Max
as like
Williams,
the third tight end or something like that. But like, I think he finished up there, like top 5 or something.
Who?
Max Williams?
Oh, week 1.
Week 2.
Yeah.
I mean.
Week 1, Max Williams, 0 catches.
Right.
Week 2, 7 catches. But then flip side, Juwan James, 2 touchdowns.
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson, my bad, from the Saints.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns week 1. Week 2, nothing.
No, I mean, he had like 2 receptions.
Yeah, but nothing.
But
you know what I'm saying? Compared to what,
Yeah. What'd you say? You said you liked that video. And it was really informative, and now you want to subscribe so you can win your fantasy football league? Okay. Go ahead. You wish that we would live stream and answer fantasy football questions every Sunday before the games? Okay, they sure do. AVG Fantasy Football has your back. Did you get what I did there? It was a little Dora the Explorer, a little back and forth. Like, we weren't actually talking, but you thought maybe you did. Yeah, you thought. Yeah, I convinced you. It's called acting. What else did you say? You said that you want to be able to call in while we do live streams? Hey, should I start McCaffrey? Well, yeah. Here it is. This is an example of what's going to happen. Hello? Yes. I'm curious. Should I start Dalvin Cook? Then this is us. Yeah. Obviously, you should play Dalvin Cook because Dalvin Cook's like really good. So I'd say, it is matchup proof. So put him in your lineup. It's that damn easy. And then bam, you won your fantasy football league that week. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more videos just like this. If you want to see us answer questions live every Sunday before the games start, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you know right when we drop content for you to win your fantasy football league.